Laura asks, Gigi, how do I start living a more luxurious life? Luxury isn't about the bag, it's about the boundaries. Start by refusing chaos, stop answering to scarcity, and please, stop making space for anyone who makes you feel replaceable. You want a softer life? Raise your standards, not your volume. Next question.
Hello, everybody. Gosh, tongue twister start already, eh? Hope you guys are having a good Sunday, Fire Nation. We have a lot to cover today. And I'm going to keep my energy up. It has been a long week, but we are here and we have a lot of good stuff to cover today. So, pardon me. We're going to go through the PowerPoint that I prepared for you. Now, what I've done is ensure I explain why these phrases are best, right? So that you can understand the principle for yourself. Okay? Now, when you understand the principle for yourself, you don't have to basically use the phrases verbatim. You don't have to copy them exactly. Once you understand the reasoning behind the change in the sentences, then you can create your own sentences with the same principle. Okay? So we're gonna start off. I have some fill in the blanks for the whiteboard a little bit later. We're gonna break it up a bit, right? But right now we're gonna go through our business language. Okay? So for the people on the playback, I know that a lot of people, will come in after, but I have to be mindful of the people on the playback. And the people on the playback, we can't have a slow start. Okay? Good. So we're gonna begin. And forgive me if my energy is a little bit low. Work till no complaints, but work till 1 a.m. last night. I got home around 3, right? And I've been working all week. So lots to do still, right? So forgive me if my energy seems a bit low, but I'm here and I'm present for you. Okay? And no complaints. Good. So we're gonna start. So everyday phrases, and I'm going to give you the reasoning as well as to why it's best to change them the way I change them. Again, the reasoning that I provided is so that you can understand, so you don't feel like as if you have to be a copycat. You can actually rephrase it yourself and create your own phrases, but these are best practices. Okay, good. All right, so sorry, everyday phrases. We're going to go to the board. We're going to do a fill in the blanks. I don't know. Instead of I don't know, right? Instead of I don't know, you say, this is the upgraded phrase. Let me verify that and get back to you with the accurate information, right? Let me verify that and get back to you with the accurate information, right? So you can try this instead. Hold on. Why is this like this? Let me make it bigger. Yeah, so you can try. 1 second. Try this instead. I'll confirm that and follow up with you shortly. Okay, I'll confirm that and follow up with you shortly. And I'm going to tell you why. Why? Because, let me give you an example. Sorry. Let me give you an example in action. So someone asks you about a new company policy. Okay, they ask you about a new company policy. Instead of you saying, I don't know, right? You say, let me confirm the latest update and I'll get right back to you. Why? You know why? You want to be strong in your language. Why? You get respect, right? Your language, when you open your mouth, first of all, people are always judging you. We don't live in Sugarland. So get out of this thing about, oh, it shouldn't be this, it shouldn't be that. Yeah, it should rain Skittles. It doesn't. Okay? People are always judging you. So one of the biggest ways that people judge you in corporate is by the language you use. You want to use strong language. You want to use language that makes people have confidence in you because of the confidence in yourself. Okay, don't forget that. So this transforms uncertainty into confidence and leadership because you're showing responsibility and you're showing professionalism, right? You're proving that you deliver answers, not excuses. These are facts, right? And it makes you seem very, very reliable, and it makes you respected. It makes you a respected communicator, right? If somebody asks you something, especially something that you should know, is in my eyes red, apologies. It can't help, you know, tired, right? Especially when you're supposed to know something, right? Or either way it works, whether it's your subordinate or someone who is above you in the workplace, like your supervisor. Because if a supervisor asks you something, show that you're helpful. I don't know, but you know what? I'm gonna go and I'll find that out for you right away. And if it's a subordinate, you show your leadership, and you're also leading by example. Okay, good. Everyday phrase. This is another big one. I need your help. Upgraded phrase. I'd appreciate your support on this, right? What you can try instead is, your support would be very valuable here. That's one of my favorites. I like to use that one because you let the person feel valuable and you let the person feel important, which they are if you need their help, right? Everybody's important, but especially at this crux in the time when you need their support, right? So instead of you saying I need your help, it comes off needy. It comes off like you're a distraction. It comes off like um it doesn't put you in a place of power. Okay, it doesn't position you in a place of power. So what you say is, your support would be valuable here, right? So here we go. Example in action. Instead of I need your help with this report, you say your support on this report would be valuable. I like to say invaluable because it kind of ups it a bit, right? But you can say valuable, right? Let me give you my explanation. See, this wording, it invites collaboration without sending, without sounding, sorry, without sounding dependent or needy. Okay? Remember, I was just saying you don't want to sound needy, like, oh, I need your help. No, right? It shows confidence as well. It shows respect because you're basically telling the person, hey, you know what? Your input here is valuable to me, right? And it shows leadership. And actually, people respond better when they feel like their contribution is valued because they don't feel like as if they're helping you. They feel like they're helping themselves. Hold on 1 second. I have to plug in this computer again. Stay right here. Don't move. You know what? How about this one? It's the easiest course of action right there. All right. Let me see if anybody writes in the chat. I can't really see the chat right now. Let me see how I can do it. Because I'm trying this new thing where I don't share screen, but hi, blessings, I'm Scara. Blessings, Disa Nice. Good afternoon, Queen. Good afternoon. Blessings, Rick Storm. Blessing my brother. Hi, Scara. Good to see you. Sorry I couldn't see you guys before because the chat wasn't showing. Right? Blessings. All right. So yeah. So you let people feel and let people know. Hello, Gaza Ricardo. Blessings, Gaza Ricardo. Thanks for welcome. Welcome. You're always welcome. Good to see you. Right. So this wording, it invites collaboration, and people actually, when they feel like as if their contribution is valued, which it should be, especially if you're asking them for help, right? They know that they feel like they're helping themselves and not just you. Okay, good. So don't forget the reasoning. Don't forget the reasoning. You can change it up as you want. Okay, next one. You're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah, better ways to say that without giving offense and without making an enemy. You're wrong. In the business world, you say, I have another viewpoint to share, right? Right? Or you can say, I see it from a different perspective. Now, if you don't want to share your other viewpoint by giving a solution, then you say, well, I see from a different perspective. If you want to cut the argument short, sometimes you want to do that because sometimes the person the person is a gossip, or the person is just wasting your time. So you want to cut off the conversation. Say, I see from a different viewpoint. End of discussion. But if it's somebody that you actually want to collaborate with and you want to actually help in the project, you say, you know what? I have another viewpoint to share. Simple, right? Thanks for and this and nice. It wouldn't be anything without you, without you, you audience too, right? Bless you, bless you. And I love to see the ladies here too. All right. Example in action. I see from a different perspective. May I share my viewpoint? All right. Why? Because you know what? This keeps your communication respectful, right? And it reduces defensiveness. If you tell somebody you are wrong, automatically they're going to get defensive, right? And this when you do it this way, you take the emotion out of it and you position yourself as emotionally intelligent, right? And you position yourself as solution focused instead of you complaining that the person is wrong. You basically saying, hey, you know what, I see it from a different viewpoint. Would you mind me sharing? See, I even reworded that differently. Why was I able to do that? Because I understood the principle. Always understand the principle so you can make your own rules, not rules. Make your own statements, right? That's comfortable to you, right? So it makes you be solution focused, right? And it's very, very powerful in leadership. Good. Okay. Everyday phrase. That's not my job. Hmm. It may not be your job, may not be your job, but there's a better way to say it, right? Upgraded phrase. You can say, you know, that falls outside my current scope of responsibility. They'll get the point right away without you being rude, right? The facts are, you're hired for something. You're not hired for everything, right? So you must know what your responsibility is. Doesn't mean that you can't be helpful, but sometimes you have to set boundaries. If not, everybody's going to be coming to your desk when you have your own work to do. Okay, good. Um, you can say, who would be the right person to handle this? That I like, and I've used that one many times. Respect Clip Cartel, honor, blessings. Welcome. Um, who would be the right person to handle this? The reason why I like that one is because it gets them to think, and it's clearly not you, right? So you're basically collaborating with them, like, I wonder who would be the best person to handle this because that falls outside of my scope. There you go. You let them know that you will. Let me tell you why I love these and why soft power is so important. Blessings, Merkaba, my brother. Blessings, Chloe. 25 75. All right, so we're not going to talk about dancehall stuff on my channel because three-quarter of the people that listen to my playback, they don't know what you're talking about. So we want to keep it clean, like from house to house, right? But I appreciate that. Okay, so why you try this instead, right? Who would be the right person to handle this? Why I like this so much? Because you're basically setting the tone and setting the premise that I will not be handling things that I'm not supposed to be handling without even saying it, right? That's the key. You can say things, you can be firm without actually saying it. Hopefully the people are intelligent enough to get the hint. If not, sometimes you have to be more blunt, right? But it also, good evening, Invest. Good afternoon, Invest. Good evening. Good evening. Right? So who would be the right person to handle this? Right? And Invest, we have a quiz later on if you're around. I know you're back and forth with your work sometimes and you're not out of the internet. Right? So who would be the right person to handle this? Why is that so good? because you're basically saying, I'm not the right person to handle this, but I'm thinking with you, who would be the right person to handle this? And you're also saying, don't expect me to handle things that I'm not supposed to handle, right? So you don't have to say, it's not my job. Right, Mr. Fabulous, good afternoon, good afternoon. Good to see you. Blessings, blessings. Welcome. Example in action, right? This falls outside of my role. Who would be the best person to handle this, I wonder, right? Good. Now, why does this work? Just like I just explained it to you, it maintains professionalism without, sorry, while protecting your boundaries. Remember, I said it's basically showing that, hey, I am not doing anything outside of my job description, and don't expect me to, because people will keep coming to your desk. Listen, I've seen this mistake made many times. You can be nice. I don't even like to use that word. I'm kind. I'm not nice, right? Because nice is people pleasing. Nice will be, okay, I'll do it for you. That's nice. Don't be nice, because people walk all over you, especially in the corporate world. They will always make you do, and then they'll scapegoat you. They make you do their work, and then they'll scapegoat you, and then take credit for your work. So listen, be kind. When you're being kind, you're basically saying, I will help you to figure out who is supposed to handle this, but I'm not going to be handling it, right? So you can say things without saying things, right? So yeah, so it helps to protect your boundaries. It avoids sounding dismissive, like that's not my job, right? And it redirects the task appropriately, right? And it shows self-respect. These are facts, okay? Next phrase, you're taking too long. Now, this one has ended people up in HR many times, right? And Rick, I was explaining to people my eyes are red just because I was working so late last night. But guys, I'm doing my best with my energy to keep my energy up for you. But we're here, so don't mind me. Some days I have more energy, some days not as much. But once we get the message across and once I'm helpful, that's what matters. Okay, so everyday phrase, you're taking too long. Okay, upgraded phrase, can we align on a timeline for completion? That's a good one, right? But you can try this. What timeline can we commit to moving forward? Why? Because you're basically asking them, blessings, Imatep, my brother. Blessings, Imatep. Right? So basically you're asking them, what timeline can we commit to moving forward? In other words, you're asking for solid, you to make up your mind and tell me solidly, if this is this going to be ready by 3 p.m. That's what I can expect it. So you're setting expectation. You see what I'm saying? That's what you're doing. So you're taking too long is a complaint with no solution. But when you say, can we align on a timeline for completion, that basically is giving a solution. Like, when can I expect this? Okay. Good. Here we go. Let's align on a timeline so we're on the same page for completion, right? You can say that. But remember, don't be a robot. You have to say what's comfortable to you to say. So the principle is, right? Just understanding the reasoning behind it. And then you can use some of my words, or you can mix it and make it your own. Okay? Here it is. Why it works. It works because it replaces blame with structure, which you must always do, right? Blame is just complaints. You just want to hear yourself talk. Especially in the business world, we don't care about that. Thank you, Imatep. Thank you, Imatep. Right? So it replaces blame with structure, right? You move the conversation towards solutions and accountability, right? Because you're basically saying, what time can I expect this? So they're going to be accountable for that time, right? And it brings in clarity as well, because you don't want it to be, listen, let people talk as least as possible. You don't want it to be where this is taking too long. Oh, you know why? Because she didn't hand in that before, and then that didn't hand in, blah, 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 and then the computer wasn't, blah, and they give you all these reasons why they shouldn't be blamed. You know why? Because you blame them. Don't blame them. Just say solution. Okay, it's taking too long. Say that in your mind. The solution is, and you know when he's going to be ready by it. So guess what? Solution based. Let's align on a time for this to be completed. Right? Don't forget that. Invest. Did you all know that nice means foolish? We can talk about that soon. And you can yeah, we're gonna have a whiteboard quiz too, Imhotep. Our star student, Miss T isn't here, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure she's doing important things. Everyday phrase, I don't care. Don't say I don't care. Said, you know what? This isn't a priority at this time. And leave it there. People will respect you for that. This is it because you move it from I don't care. That's like feelings. I don't care. It's not I don't care. We're talking about the situation. This situation is not a priority at this time. Read it however you want to read it. Okay? So, or you can try this instead. Let's focus on high priority items first. What I like to say is, you know what? Let's get first things first. Let's get first things done first. That's what I like to say. Put first things first. I always say that. Right? Imhotep says, facts. You have to be stern. That nice thing is not going to work, especially in corporate. No, they will eat you alive. People take you for a fool if you are quote unquote nice. And you would be a fool because what you're doing is you're not respecting your boundaries, right? And you're taking on more than you should. You have to be able to stand up for yourself in a polite way. Okay, good. Let's focus on higher priority items, right? All right, there you go. This isn't a priority right now. Let's revisit after the main tasks are completed. You can say that, right? But remember, don't be a robot. Just remember the principle that I'm about to teach you right now. Remember the principle so you can make one for yourself. Okay? Why it works? Because you remove the emotional tone. That's what I was just saying. You remove the emotional tone from it, right? And it's not I don't care, right? And you replace it with priority management. That's why I always say these are facts. Right? These are facts, right? It positions you, it makes you seem, which you are, focused and strategic, because you know what? I'm not saying I'm not going to deal with that soon, but let's deal with more important pressing matters right now, right? So it positions you as strategic, right? And it also brings respect to you because people will see like, you know what? She knows how to spend her time. She knows how to allocate her energy properly. I respect that. See? And then you have somebody championing for you. You have a friend. Or not a friend, but someone who wants to be behind you. Right? Facts. Right? Instead of I don't care. That's emotional and it's dismissive. Next, you need to do better. That will end up in HR. Don't say that. You can think it. Not everything that you think you must say. Pause. Right? Pause. You need to do better. Okay, that's a complaint. That's a you. That's a you. That's a complaint. And it's very vague. It's not even saying, hey, the numbers here are not correct or this doesn't align. No, it's very vague. You need to do better. No. Remember, always think, and this is my problem with complainers. And this is why complainers, they hurt me. And I don't hang around. Complainers are miserable people, right? Because they have a problem for every solution. Always think solution based, always. Okay. So now, instead of you need to do better, can you think of what a solution would be? There is room for improvement here, right? Or something along those lines, right? Because you're taking it out of the accusation, accusing him and opening the mind to, how else can we improve this? Okay. Here it is. Upgraded phrase. There's an opportunity to improve here. Okay, that's a good one. Or let's explore ways to strengthen this. I've used that one. And you use that one when somebody is not your subordinate. You're working with a teammate and you look at it and you're like, let's see how we can get this better. Let's see if we can, so that way it's collaboration, right? That way you're not telling the person you need to do better, right? But you're showing them that there's an opportunity to improve here. And when you say opportunity to improve, It makes people feel, I won't go as far as say excited, but interested in what else they can do to up the ante a bit. And it's not accusatory. Okay? Here it is, example in action. There's an opportunity to improve here. Let's refine this together. If you're supposed to refine it together, sometimes you're not. Sometimes it's you're giving somebody a review and they did poorly on a test. You say, listen, this is an opportunity for you to get better here, right? So you encourage them if you want to keep them, if you care to keep them, right? Why this works? It maintains dignity while encouraging growth. Yeah, yeah. It maintains dignity, it makes the person feel dignified, and it encourages their growth, right? And it's empowering rather than discouraging. When you tell somebody you need to do better, that's discouraging. And it's very vague. It's just complaining against the person, okay? Complaining against the person. But when you are encouraging growth, it's empowering, right? And it shows leadership. And leadership, good leadership is always supposed to uplift. Always. The best leaders uplift. They don't criticize and, punch down. Those are not leaders. Those are not leaders. Invest says complaining is like a rocking chair, gives you something to do but takes you nowhere. That's right. I remember that phrase. Here's another phrase. That's a dumb idea. Don't say that. There may be a more effective way of doing this, or there may be more effective alternatives. That's a good one. Okay? Or let's consider additional options. See? So you're not putting the person on the defense. You're not making the person defensive. Pardon me, right? There may be a few more effective alternatives. Can we explore a few more options? Okay. Why it works? Because it preserves respect and keeps innovation alive, right? Strong communication, it challenges ideas, not people, right? And you do it with a little bit of grace and a lot of influence, okay? Lots of influence. A lot of your influence is going to come, people, not only from what you accomplish, but from how you treat people, okay? Easier said than done, because you will need to have a certain temperament to be able to be successful. So let's take a break from that right now. And I'm going to go to fill in the blanks on the whiteboard. And I want to see if you guys are getting, hold on, I have to fix the camera. Miss J, do you know how the length of the live will be? I have a question, but I'm on the phone. Call in anytime, Invest. Anytime you want, you can call in. Anytime you want, you can call in. You're always welcome to call in. You know that. At least you should. I don't know how long it's going to be honest. Honestly don't know how long it's going to be. All right, so let me so we're at slide 34. Let me go back to this, to me. Let me know if you can see. Can you guys see the board? All right, let's see. All right. So, you know what? Let me not do the fill in the blanks. Let me do word for word. Or you know what? Let me do fill in the blanks. Several employees, now let's see if you get this. Several employees chose to push back on the policy. Let me get my energy up. All right, hold on, guys. We can't have no sleepy life. No sleepy life, come. All right, so several employees chose to push back. Hey, good evening, Miss T, star student. I just mentioned you. I said to myself that if Miss T is not here, I know she's doing something very important, really important, as usual. Blessings, Miss T, and welcome always, my sister. Miss T, I will just start to fill in the blanks. So this is your this is your ballpark. Okay. Many of the employees chose to push back on the policy. Push back. Give me another one for pushback, a different word for pushback. All right. Several of the employees chose to push back on the policies. Next, the best word would be object. Instead of pushback, we say object. You guys can see the board properly? You guys can see the board or no? Do I need to move the board closer? Let me know, Let me know if you guys can see the board or not. Because if not, it don't make any sense. I think there is a delay now because every time when I ask you guys a question, you can see it? Okay, good. Thank you, Clip. Okay, we need to replace the current vendor. We need to replace the current vendor. You can say replace. Replace is fine. Invest for said challenge for the first one. That's, you know what? That's actually a good one. Invest. Let me read it again. Several employees chose to challenge the policy. That's fine. That's good. That's good. Yeah, because I said chose to on. So that's why you can't say challenge on the policy. But yeah, challenge is actually a good one. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we need to replace the current vendor. You can say substitute, but replace, you know what? Replace is actually good too. Substitute is good too. So we can say substitute. All right. Please choose the best candidate. Please choose the best candidate. What would be choose? Hi, Queen Lakeisha. Good afternoon. Afternoon, Queen. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. Clip Cartel says moving it closer will make it more visible, Miss J. Okay. Tell me when to stop, okay? Because remember, I can't see what you guys are seeing. And look what I found. I won't need it though, because you're a very good class. Okay, let's see. Is that good? How about that? That's better? Good? Great. Okay, cool. All right. So choose. And Miss T said select. Yes, Miss T. Yes, Miss T. Miss T get the first point for the day, as usual. All right. We must follow company's guidelines. We must follow the company's guidelines. We must comply with. Comply with. Comply with. Okay. We plan to set up a new department. We plan to. Good evening, Money Pro Music. Good evening. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. We plan to set up a new department. Instead of set up. Not select. Select was the answer for before. Miss T, listen to me, God. People on the playback, I promise you, Miss T has not seen this list. Miss T has not seen this list. She just knows. Yes, Miss T. You know what, Miss T? If you get one more, you get the money gun. Miss T just wake me up. All right, set up, right? Yeah, establish. Very good. Very, very, very good. All right. Please check with. Please. Okay, let me give you context here. Please check with legal before proceeding. Please check with legal before proceeding. Well, check with, think about it. No, check with legal. Who will I consult? Consult, right? Check with, consult. Please consult. Okay? Let's talk about this during the meeting. Let's talk about this during the meeting. We know this was last week. Let's talk about this during the meeting. Discuss is a good one, Queen Lakeisha. Discuss is a good one, Queen. Discuss is a good one. That's not the one I wrote though, but that's a good one. I'm gonna write that one down because actually I would use that one in real life. I would use that one actually in real life. But what I wrote down was address. Let's address this during the meeting. Okay. All right. All right. This is a good one, and I laughed when I wrote this one. We're ready to move forward. We are ready to move forward. We are ready to move forward. Advance. We're ready to advance. All right. I'll check in. Check in. Let me see if I'm seeing the chat good. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. I will check in. I will check in with the client next week. You know what? And check-in, check-in is a tricky one because it depends on the context in which you're using it, right? In this context, if you say checking in with the client next week, what you say is I will, do I like that one? You can say regroup, you can say I'll update the client next week, or no, that's not update. You can say regroup. Actually, I don't mind checking. I'll check in with the client next week. That's not bad. Yeah. I don't think my answer is even as good as checking, actually. Let's scratch that one. That's okay. We move as we go. All right. Let's talk again. Let's talk again to the partners to confirm. Talk again. Let's re-engage with the partners. Re-engage. Instead of talk again, let's re-engage at a later time. Or gentlemen, is this a good time? Is the appropriate time to re-engage? Or when would be the appropriate time to re-engage? Queen Lakeisha says, I'll address to my repertoire, Mr. Yeah, blessings, Queen. That's what we do. We strengthen each other, right? Iron sharpen iron. Uh-oh. Why did you do that, Julia? Okay, 1 second. All right, next. And we did this one last week. You guys must get it. Submit. No, I just gave you the answer. Damn, why did I do that? I was going to say, please hand in the report. And then the answer would be submit. Let's scratch that one because I just gave you the answer. Okay. We'll start working. No, let's see. We'll start working the new hires next month. Start working. We'll start working the new hires with the new hires next month. No, you said we'll onboard the new hires next month. I've heard people say that all the time. We'll start working. Or you're going to say you're going to start working the people. No, you're going to onboard them. Onboard, right? Miss J, I'm answering the questions too fast. Okay, I'll give you guys some time then. Okay, you're right. All right. No problem. No problem. But the thing is, I can't tell if you guys are thinking about it, if you guys stepped away, or if you guys just don't want to answer. But okay, I'll give some more time. We can, it's give and take, right? No problem. All right. All right. Here we go. Miss T gonna get this one, I'm sure. Can you answer the client's question? Answer. Or answer me. Okay, respond. The answer is respond. Can you give a response to the client's question? Response or respond? Will you please give me a response? Or will you please respond to me? Okay. Let's think of creative solutions. Think of. Think of. Let's think of creative solutions. Now, close, but remember you're thinking of. You're not handling per se. I give you a hint. Sounds a lot like idea. Sounds a lot like idea. Let's ideate. Ideate means we're going to come up with an idea together, right? Let's think of creative solutions. Let's ideate creative solutions, okay? All right, one more space. She will lead the marketing initiative. She will lead. Now, these are in, of course, Urban Dictionary, but it's just lingo. It's just business lingo, right? So she will lead the marketing initiative. Yes! Yes, Miss Lee. I'm gonna have a hell cleaning this up, but you deserve it. Right. She will spearhead. Definitely. She will spearhead. Yes, Miss T. 100% spearhead. 100%. All right. Okay. All right. Next. Don't say boss. You don't have to say boss. Like it doesn't. It kind of makes you seem. You know what I mean? People say it, but at a certain level, you don't say boss. Okay. So instead of saying boss, right? You can say. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. My boss approved my request. What would you say instead of boss? Who is likely your boss that improved that approved your request? Listen, people on the chat, people on the playback, Miss T did not see this list. Miss T, that's exactly what I have written. I have it written supervisor/manager. Here, you get a cheers. Blessings, DJ Easy. Afternoon, brother. Good afternoon. Welcome. Boss, you say your supervisor, manager. Don't say boss. That's not in right now. Okay? Right. Instead of saying co-worker, Miss T. Miss T is the best one. Instead of saying co-worker, what can we say? Instead of saying co-worker, co-worker. So let's see, a co-worker helped me finish the project. Instead of saying co-worker, we can say, that's right, Queen Lakeisha, colleague. That's right. That's right, my queen. That's right, my queen. Man, the ladies really putting the men to shame. That's why we are always the ones finishing college. Clip, that's actually a good one too, but colleague is better. Colleague just sounds better, right? Colleague just, and also colleague sounds more permanent, right? Because teams break up and sometimes they're temporary teams, but team can work, team member can work. So I'm not putting that down, but colleague sounds better. Let me get my pen and paper class in session. Yeah, I mean the ladies. I mean that's why they say like the ladies are outdoing the men even in university, right? All right, next. We need to test the feature before we launch. Test. We need to test the feature, the new feature before we launch. Test. I just said, come on, shade. I have never thrown shades at all at you ever. You think I'm saying I'll never think that? No, no. That's absolutely not. I'm just stating facts. These are statistics. We can look them up. The women are doing better in college, and I don't know if that's a reflection of the ladies doing better here in class. That's all I'm saying. All right, we need to test the new feature before launch. Test, okay? Enough time has passed. Assess, 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 okay? Assess. Okay, we must follow each rule carefully. We must follow each, you can say policy carefully. Yeah, we can put policy instead of rule. Yeah. Okay, he was told off. We said trial for which one? Let's see, trial for, I don't see where trial would, for which one were you thinking trial, Queen Lakeisha? Which one? For test? Oh, no, assess would be better. Okay, you can't say we will, we need to trial the new feature before launch. No. Yeah, no. Yeah, they're differently, but it's very close though. It's very, very close. If I reworded the sentence, you could probably use it, right? Or you can say, we did put the new feature to the test. We did have a trial for the new feature. So it's close. It's the same idea. Same idea. But in this context and this case, assess would be better. All right. He was told off for missing deadlines. Told off. Instead of told off, what do we say? Instead of told off, what do we say? But yeah, Queen Lakeisha, that is actually, it's close. So if I actually reworded the sentence, that would be a perfect fit, actually. So yeah, that's good thinking because it's the same, it's basically the same fabric. Reprimand is good. Reprimand is good, invest. Told off, Queen Lakeisha, not told off, told off. Reprimand is good, and that is actually what I have invest. Actually, told off, reprimanded. All right. We need to think ahead to possible challenges. We need to think ahead to possible challenges. We need to think ahead to possible challenges. We need to anticipate possible anticipate. Think ahead. You're anticipating, right? You're anticipating what might be what might come. Anticipate. Okay, great. Instead of choose, Inver said, I reprimanded my younger constable for missing muster. That's a good one. Don't know if it's true, but that's a good sentence. Choose, opt. OPT, opt. All right, we just did an example of this in the forecast. Would be good to actually invest. That's good thinking. Forecast would actually be good. Yeah, invest. He said opted too late. I said it already, but yeah, forecast would actually be good. Yeah, I like forecast actually. We just did this on the PowerPoint. Yes, invest. All right, you know what? Let's true. Let me give. You deserve. You got 3 rights already, invest. All right, so yeah, so we just did this on the PowerPoint. Let's see if you were paying attention, shall we? All right, we will help out with the presentation. We will help out with the presentation. I want to give you guys some time because you guys said that I'm doing it too fast. We just did it. We will help out with the presentation. Assist is good, both of you. Support, but support and assist. You know what? I'm going to put them both because you're both right. So support and assist. Yes. Actually, assist is good. I like that. Okay. IT will keep safe. IT will keep the data safe, or IT will ensure the data is kept safe. Keep safe. Wait, Queen use an A. Let's see. Yeah, aid is good. Aid is good too. But in the sentence, yeah, you know what? Aid is good. We will aid in, yeah, of course. Aid is good, Queen Lakeisha. Definitely. You know what? Because you get 3 right, 2 right. So yeah. All right. What was I saying? Yeah, keep safe. You guys got this one last month actually. Yes, invest, secure. Clip says protect. Protect could work. Protect is more active. Well, should I say active? Protect. Yeah, you know what? Protect could work. Protect could work, Clip. So protect and secure, but I do actually have secure, so I have to be fair. Secure and protect. Yes, I like that. Yeah, protect. Yeah, good. And we did this one last week, so I want you to get it right. We'll build a stronger partnership next year. We'll build a stronger partnership. Let me see if you guys are paying attention. We'll build a stronger partnership next year. You guys got this right last month, so I don't know how to get it right last month and don't get it right now. Construct, Clip. Well, the men are stepping up. These men did not drop out of college. These men did not drop out of the class. The men are stepping up. I talk too fast. I talk too soon. Oh, construct. Yes, construct. Very good. Very good. So now let's go over because we need to go back to our PowerPoint because we have some more to cover. Right? So everybody pay attention. Pay attention. Let's go over. So instead of boss, supervisor, or manager. Move this up somewhere. Instead of boss, supervisor, or manager. Instead of co-worker, colleague. You guys take a picture, do whatever you need to do so that you can, because I'm not being selfish here, right? Take a picture of it so that you can put it in your photos and you can just scroll through and just memorize it for yourself, okay? I have 5 minutes, Miss J. Okay, call him then if you want. Call him whenever you're ready, right? Test, assess, told off, reprimand, think ahead, anticipate, okay? Choose, opt, help out, support, assist, or aid. Aid is a good one. Thank you, Queen Lakeisha, for that one. Keep safe, secure, and Clip says protect. Clip, you're right. Build, construct. We have a lot of construction workers here. Have you guys checked out Scara's work? His work is excellent. His work is actually excellent. You guys should check out some of his work. His cabinet work. Hopefully you guys can see this. Instead of push back, we say object. Instead of replace, we have substitute. Okay? Instead of choose, we have select. Instead of follow, we have comply with. And of course, context. That doesn't mean I'm going to comply with you down the street. That's different than follow you down the street. But if you have to follow these rules, we must comply with these rules. Right? Right? Instead of set up, establish. You just sound better, you sound smoother. Okay? Instead of check with, I'm going to consult. Okay? Did you consult with her before making those changes? Did you? Big difference. Instead of talk about, we're going to address this. Instead of you saying, oh, I want to talk about this later. Let's address this later, around 7 p.m. Okay? Let me in, Miss J, he says. Hold on. Okay. Add to stage. One second, invest. Let me, okay. You know what? Since you have to go. Unmute, invest, and let us hear what you have to say.
Can you hear me, Miss Julian?
Shush, almost fall. Yeah, I can hear you there.
Good evening. Good
Good
evening,
evening.
everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for the lesson. Really, it's really great.
Blessings. Thank you.
Refresher course. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I have maybe a two-part question. I know it could be situational, or you use the phrases that you were mentioning earlier. Um, However, I just a slight perspective. We live in a time now where we seems to care about feelings more than the truth per se.
Hmm.
That's one. And sometimes people try to go around the truth to prevent hurting people's feelings, I would say. That's one. How would you navigate that? And two, if it's a situation like, for example, my job, I can't really afford to make feelings go over the truth. If somebody do something wrong, I have to reprimand that person immediately, and I have to be as blunt as possible.
Exactly.
Just just direct. And sometimes I don't even use the proper grammar, right?
I
Because
understand.
exactly. For
Yeah.
example, recently I was on the range.
Mm-hmm.
I help out with firearm lessons as well. And one of the things is that when it comes to firearms, we understand how we have to be extra careful, right? Extra careful. And sometimes these people, sometimes they're nervous, the stress, whatever the case may be. So in a situation like that, do you think I can reprimand them maybe later on when it's everything cool off, or do you think just being direct right away will solve it?
Being direct right away, what you do is the right way, and I'll explain why. These lessons are for the corporate world. Your world, the stakes are much higher. It's life and death. Your world, if someone makes a wrong move or if someone hesitates, that's their life. The children don't have any more father. Your world, the stakes are high. Always definitely correct right away and repeat often, even in the corporate world. But we just do it so that you don't get sued, right? In your world, you have to make sure the point goes across as clear as possible. That's why the Marine Corps, soldiers, all of those people, like if the police force, right, where the stakes are so high, it doesn't matter about your feelings. Get the message across right away, because this is life and death, and what I'm telling you can either make my children see me or make you be able to go home. So your world is a completely different world. Not saying that you shouldn't have tact, of course. Not saying that you can't get sued by civilians, of course. That's why you guys have checklists and protocols. But when it comes to getting your message across, there is no room for pleasantries. Let me say it that way in your world. So what you did invest, as you know, is what you had to do. And sometimes too in the corporate world, there's no time, there's no space for pleasantries either, especially when you have to do a cease and desist but usually there's a consequence, like, you be nice about it, or I'm going to sue you for everything that you have, right? So, in the corporate world, sometimes you have to make no means about it. But there's always a way to say it, and especially because you're dealing with, you know, um people at the same intelligent level. They understand that, they understand what it is that what it is that you're actually saying without saying it. In your world, you can't take that chance. You have to make sure that they get it, and you have to make sure that they understand the importance of them getting it, because it could be your life. So the way how you deal with it, I don't see any problem with the way how you deal with what you deal with, to be honest. See you later, Queen Lakeisha. See you later. Thank you for checking in. Welcome again. See you later. And good job. And thank you for the new words. Yeah, invest. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, yeah, yes. I think you have answered that the last part, but the first part, even though it might not be it's corporate in a sense, because sometimes we still have to deal with our partners,
What
the
was it? What
business
was the first
community.
part? Sorry, what was the first part?
I was just saying sometimes it's semi corporate, sorry, because you have to deal with the business community. My department specifically, we deal with, like, whether it be fraud, anti gang, all them stuff like that. So sometimes we have to have partners, right? And we have meetings and stuff like that. But sometimes it seems as if even though we have these meetings, it's not like the risk is imminent, like on the street or working,
Right, right,
but
right.
yet still the truth is the truth should be the truth, right? And sometimes these people seem as if they want somebody to hold their
Yeah.
hands. They
Yeah.
want somebody to sing kumbaya,
Yeah. Because
instead of just being blunt and say, hey, this is a problem.
yeah.
For example, I'm sorry to cut you. Let's
Mhm.
say there is extortion, right?
Yeah.
um Somebody might be scared to even say it's extortion. They might be scared, but yet still they will complain to say, hey, the police not doing anything. Get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And the thing is with that is, even in the corporate world, you have to be able to code switch depending on who you're talking to, right? The way you talk to a competitor is different than the way you talk to a client, different than how you would reason with a producer, right? Or a supplier. So with that, when you have to deal with the corporate world, just understand that those people are not from your world. And a lot of them are in a bubble. These are facts, right? So yeah, it is a matter of code switching. It's a matter of still being firm, but still having a little bit of politeness. It's not a matter of caring too much about their feelings, or and then too there's a lot of politics. A lot of times people don't want to say certain things when other people are in the room, or people don't want to say a certain thing because it's being recorded, or they don't want to be on record for saying a certain thing, right? So there's a lot of politics there. But once you communicate your message respectfully and directly, right, they will get it, because in corporate, the higher you go, the more direct you have to be. So they will be used to it, and also they also know to a large extent that your world is different, so they expect soldiers, police to be a bit more forthcoming, let me say, than somebody else in the office, right? So yeah, it can be done, it can be done, but hey, what can I say about that? What can I say about
And
it?
and thank you for that, Miss Julie. And lastly, as well,
Mhm.
if there is a subject matter that we're discussing, right? The principle has to be the same across the board. The principle has to be the same,
Mhm.
and we can't, not because of would it be emotions or afraid of saying whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, the principle have to be the main thing. The issue, that's the principle. What is the issue, right? Or what are the issues that you guys are having? That is to be the number one thing. And then different tactics. We can use different tactics now to address
Mhm.
that principle. But what I found out is that these people is as if um maybe it's a bit hard to explain. Maybe you have to be there to understand how these people operate. It's as if you said something profound earlier. You said they're in a bubble, and I think maybe I have to infiltrate the bubble and show them a different perspective so that
Yeah.
they can see it.
Mhm. Yeah, no,
You
I
understand?
agree.
Because
I agree.
a person who is a businessman and make millions of dollars and operate in Spanish Town, for example, versus someone who say operate um short of the road or something. It's a different dynamic. It's completely different, but
Completely.
they have the same problems.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And two, I don't know, we don't need to expound on what it is that you're going through, but crime is everybody's problem, right? Crime is everybody's
That's
problem,
exactly.
right? And that's the
Exactly. It's just
thing.
I'm just trying to find. The reason why I log into stuff like this is like I am personal. I want to learn different mediums, different ways of
There are ways of
dealing
doing
with
it.
things.
Yeah,
I just don't want to just stick to stay in my own silo
right.
and
That's
understand everybody I
important.
talk.
You don't want to be in a bubble, and that's smart, actually.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry for cutting you.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, no. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
That's good. And you know what? Invest people like that who don't want to be in a bubble and aren't afraid of challenging their own ideas. It's a survival technique, because you never want to be blindsided by something. You know what I mean? You want to have as much information as possible and be as flexible as possible. So that is a mark of high risers in all fields, actually. In all fields. The top of their game, they are the most flexible because they've had to be. And you wouldn't get to the top of your game without being flexible, right? So and experience give you flexibility as well, because you've seen many different things from different perspectives, right? It should, but some people are set in their ways, and or they're just comfortable, so they don't need to learn it because they're comfortable in their bubble, right? So yeah, that's
Right,
a
right, right.
that's a marker of actually high achievers in whatever field that they're in. Mhm.
Yeah, and and as you know, I don't just subject myself to just the JCF. I venture out into different things.
Yeah,
I have conversation with different people, so
yeah,
I try to be as rounded as I can be.
yeah,
Every single day, I try to garner something to add to the tool belt.
definitely,
That's just me.
definitely.
That's just me
That
personally.
is you, and we know that too from listening to you talk different conversations. You're not just one track. right? But how is your entrepreneur life going? How are you rebuilding so far? One second, let me respond to Queen to Decent. Decent says, I don't think profanity should be used though. That's right, Decent. There's if you have a high vocabulary, you don't need profanity. I mean, sometimes passion takes over and people make excuses, but you can be stern and you can be firm and straight to the point without using profanity. There's so many other words as we could see, you
And
know.
I have a caveat to that.
Yeah,
I've been into many private meetings with highly decorated people, and
yeah,
nobody cursed like them. Nobody cursed like these people.
they're comfortable.
They they were cursed like crazy. But yet still, when they're outside in the public, they they is like a performer.
Exactly. It is, and that's what I
So
said.
you need to be true to yourself, which I understand. This a nice point. Sometimes the profanity, I think it takes away from even doing
Humanity.
the job. You understand? I agree.
Yeah,
Me personally, I'm not the person who just rattle off profanity. Personally, me, but sometimes in a situation like, whether it be shootout or some trying to catch people or whatever, then sometimes just the adrenaline, the passion, what I mean, try to protect your life, try to go home.
mhm.
You just don't know what you might say at that particular
Yeah,
time. You
your
understand?
state are really high.
I've got injured before, and when me see the blood, me don't know, so me start chip to clot. And me, I'm the one that got injured.
Yeah,
Understand?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Your stakes are higher. But what this and I says is true too, because
Yeah.
in polite company, you don't want people to be looking at you like you're an idiot or you're just rude. It's fine if you're
Right, right.
comfortable enough to be doing that, or if your industry is comfortable enough to be doing that. Trust me, people from different industries, like the ad industry, which I was a part of too, right? Or even, if they're brewer guys or brewer girls, hanging around each other, they might, say because they're around each other, that's their industry thing. But best and trust and believe, when it's time for them to give a presentation or when it's time for them to actually talk firmly and politely, they can. So it's not a matter of it's having to rely on it. That's the problem. Having to rely
Yeah,
on the profanity, that's the problem. Right. Hi, Bruce Wayne. Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome, brother.
yeah. You mentioned like the business aspect. It's one of the things.
Yeah,
Sometimes
business
too,
part. Yeah.
we have to stress this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what you make. Sometimes it's what you say, what you put away, right? For rainy day. That's the important thing. And I've been stacking for a while. So even though Melissa came and did her thing, I was able to, you know,
To rebuild.
restock and
Restart.
stuff like that because I had, um, you know,
Yeah.
certain things and even just irrespectful of like what's going on and stuff. I don't want to be depressed and all them stuff
Yeah.
like
No,
that.
you have
So
to keep moving. Progress.
I even bought myself a Christmas present as well too.
Good.
Yeah,
You must. You
yeah,
should. You got
rewarded
to.
myself.
What did
Yeah,
you
yeah,
buy?
yeah, yeah.
Check, check, check. Mood man. Check, check, check.
Huh?
Welcome. Welcome.
Let's say that
No,
again.
so what did you buy? What did you buy?
Oh, I bought a new car.
I know you
Yeah,
love your car,
yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
But Miss Julia, thanks for having me.
blessing, of
Sorry,
course, always.
sorry to cut the
No, never. We
conversation.
love the conversation, and your
No,
your input is always valuable. So thank you so much for the questions and the participation. I really
no,
appreciate.
yeah, I appreciate you. All right, thank you so much, and everybody have a great Sunday. All right, take
All
care.
right, and
Bye
you be
bye.
safe. Be safe. Okay. All right. Check, check, check. Mood man. Check, check, check. So we're gonna go over. We stopped at set up, establish, check with, consult. Okay. Talk about, address, move forward, advance, talk again, re-engage. We're going to say we're going to talk again about it. We're going to re-engage. Start working, um, on board. I didn't write it. I didn't write it. Start working on board. Yeah, on board. Answer, response, or respond. Think of, ideate. Lead, spearhead. She's going to lead it. She's going to spearhead the marketing team. Now we're going to go back to our PowerPoint because I really want you guys to get the I really want you guys to get the reasoning behind these changes in sentences so that you can make your own, right? Good. Let me fix this. Is that too low? Let's see. Have a great rest of Sunday, folks. Yes, take care, Invest. Thank you for coming and your participation as usual. It's just all right. Let's start. All right. We did the dumb idea thing. Next phrase, calm down. In the history of people saying to calm down, I don't think it has ever worked. Calm down. I love this. It's just so soft. Right? Don't say calm down. Right? You can say, you know what? Let's take a moment to pause and regroup. Okay? Right? Or you say, let's take a breath and reset. When somebody wants to say calm down. Right? Don't just say calm down. Right? Here's an example. Let's pause and regroup so that we can move forward more clearly. This is a very powerful statement, right? Because you're telling them the reason why it's necessary to pause and regroup instead of you accusing them and saying calm down. Why? Because when you tell somebody calm down, you're basically saying you're not being relaxed right now. Because if they were relaxed, they wouldn't have to calm down. So you remove that accusation from it, right? And say, you know what? Let's pause and regroup so we can move forward more clearly. Okay? Here it is. Calm down triggers defensiveness, right? The upgrade, it neutralizes tension, right? And it creates space for clarity. Don't forget that. Guys, the reason why I wrote this out like this, the why it works part, is because I want you to think about it on your own for your different, keep the principles so you can make your own sentences. Okay? Good. Everyday phrase. I already told you. I already told you. As mentioned previously, da 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 da. Let me tell you why. When you tell somebody, I remember the principle. What is the principle that I've been saying since I started on June 8th? First of all, many, because one of the main ones is always be aware and self-awareness. But the other one is always act and think solution-based. Always act and think solution-based, right? So instead of you saying, I already told you, right? That's not solution-based, because guess what? You're going to have to tell them again, because nobody asks a question to something that they know the answer to. Why would she come and ask me again how to do it if she remembered? She must be a mad woman, right? Nobody's going to do that, right? So clearly the person forgot. But you want to make it clear that, listen, take note now because I've told you before. That's in your mind. That is what you want to make clear. So what you say is, as previously mentioned, blah, 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 blah. In other words, I'm telling you this again for the record. I'm telling you this again, right? Or you can say, to reiterate, blah, 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 blah. Okay, good. See, as mentioned previously, or as previously mentioned, the deadline is Friday at 3 p.m. Okay, in other words, I'm telling you again. All right, it don't make no sense you tell people I told you before. That doesn't solve the problem, people. It's extra talking. Then she's gonna say, I know, but I forgot. Clearly she forgot. Duh, she forgot, or he forgot. Okay, good. Remember, listen to me. I want you guys to always remember this. People respect you more, you respect you more, which is the most important thing, when you think solution based. Okay? Of course, you're going to take some time with the problem because you want to figure out why this happened. But moving forward, solution based. Don't complain. Stop the complaining. Doesn't matter whose fault it was. Just take note. But you need to get yourself out of the sticky situation. Think solution. Deal with everything else later. Deal with the accountability and who was responsible later. And I wish I can get more people to think that way. You think that way? It's mindset, people. Okay? Why this work? It removes accusation and it replaces it with professional repetition. Right? This way you stay composed, right? While you're enforcing the message and you're doing it politely. Okay? Good. Next slide. You're not listening. That's another one. That's very accusatory. This accusation. You're not listening. You are not listening. Go ready. Hi. Good afternoon and welcome. Go ready. Here and in listening mode as I mark papers. Good stuff here. Blessings, blessings. Welcome, welcome. You're not listening. You're not listening. You say, let me restate to ensure we're properly aligned. What did I write? Let me restate to ensure we're aligned. That could work. So in other words, you're saying, you're showing that it's important for us to have alignment. So basically, you need to listen to what I'm saying instead of you're not listening, right? I'd like to revisit this to make sure we're on the same page. Right? Good. So let me restate this to ensure we are aligned on the next steps. That's an example. Okay? Because you're showing the importance. It's important for us to be aligned on the next step. So it's important for you to listen to what I'm saying. Basically, that's what you're saying. Okay? So instead of accusing, you're taking control and you're guiding the conversation back on track. All right? So this here is showing emotional intelligence. So instead of you reacting annoyed, because clearly I said it twice, you're not listening to me. You can be annoyed all you want. Be annoyed in your head. Take a breath. Compose yourself. Okay? And say it properly. Right? Solution based. Don't compound a problem. Next thing you know, you go say, you're not listening. And then the person feels upset. How dare you talk to me like that? And blah, blah, blah. And you compound the problem. And guess what? The solution is no longer the issue. Now the issue is how you answered the person, which was not the issue in the first place. Do not compound problems. Next, you never told me. Again, accusation. You never told me. No. I don't recall receiving that information. Simple. Take it from you to I. Okay? I don't recall receiving that information. Okay? Right? Or you could say, could you resend that for clarity? I would still say, I don't recall receiving that information. Could you resend it to me for clarity? Right? Yeah, that's what I wrote. I don't recall that information. Could you resend it so we are aligned? Right? Now, why? Because you avoid blame again. Remember that principle, avoiding blame. You avoid blame and you shift to clarity and solution, right? And that will keep relationships smooth. Ladies and gentlemen, soft power is a thing. I don't know why they label it soft power, because it's still power. It's still influence, right? Don't know. I have to think about that some more. Maybe because it's not aggressive power, probably. But regardless, it's effective. Use it. Next, do it again. Instead of do it again, you say, please revisit this. Please revisit this. Or, let's refine this further. Okay. Next, here it is. Example in action. Please revise this section to add more detail to the results. Please revise this. Don't just tell them to do it again, because this is very discouraging, right? Very, very discouraging. It makes the person feel like their entire work was trash. Okay, right? But with reading it, doing it like this, you are basically pointing out where deserves more attention. You give an instruction. Okay, here it is. It moves the request from corrective to collaborative. That too. So you're not shaming them. Remember, no accusation. You elevate the standard and you're inspiring improvement. And you're telling them to revisit whatever sections you have a problem with. Okay? Instead of, that doesn't make sense. It depends on the context, but there's a better way to say it. That doesn't make sense, especially if you're a part of a team, right? Especially if you're a part of a team at work. You want the team to remain cohesive. You don't want bad feelings in the team that's going to affect the work, all of that. Okay? So you say, help me understand your rationale here. Okay, watch your face too. That's something I have to do. Help me understand your rationale here, or your rationale. Okay? So basically you're saying, instead of you saying it doesn't make sense, you're saying, basically, you made this decision for a reason. Can you explain to me why? That's what you're saying. I need to understand your reasoning behind this act, what you just did, right? Or you can say, could you clarify your point, instead of it doesn't make sense. Okay? Could you clarify your point so I understand your approach? It's another one, right? Why? You maintain respect and you open a space for clearer communication. Go ready. Remember that you can call in anytime too, to give us some hints, because I know that you have a lot of experience in that department. But I know you're marking papers, so forgive me. But I'm just letting you know that you're free to call in too. You maintain respect and open a space for clearer communication, and you show curiosity rather than criticism, right? And that is a great sign that's a sign of a great communicator. Okay? And that's what leadership is about. All right? That is largely what leadership is about. You can't lead people that if you don't communicate with them. If you don't communicate effectively, how are you going to lead them? It makes no sense. The everyday phrase, why did you do that? You're just trying to remember. You're trying to understand the reasoning behind. So you know what? I'm going to throw it to you guys. Instead of why do you do that? With the principles that I've been teaching, which is take the accusation out of it and be solution based, what would you say instead of why did you do that? I'll give you some time. Let me know. What would you say instead of why did you do that? Since you like the interaction. Remember the principle. The principle is keep the accusations out of it. And the principle is always be solution based. What would you say? Okay, no one? No problem. What guided your decision here? Right? Or can you walk me through your reasoning? Remember, you're trying to understand. Okay? And this way, it's easy for you to correct where they go wrong. Instead of you saying, why did you do that? The person get defensive. Well, I did this because blah, blah, blah. No. Can you walk me through your reasoning? Well, Miss Julia, I was thinking that because she did this last week, then maybe she would need this week. And so I said, oh, okay. So you were trying to anticipate her needs. Understood. That's not appropriate right now. See what I mean? Easy conversation. The person respects you without feeling terrorized by you. Okay? That is leadership. And listen, leadership is not people following you because they have to. Okay? That's not leadership. Example, can you walk me through your reasoning for choosing this method? Why? Because you avoid sounding accusatory again, and instead you seek insight. Because I'm saying I'm trying to understand you here. Where are you coming from? With, you can even say it that way. Okay? Right? So it keeps the person engaged, right? And it encourages accountability without fear. You don't want the people that you're leading to be fearful of you, because they'll never tell you the truth. And you don't want a bunch of yes men around you. Believe me, you don't. That's a highway that don't make no sense. You have anybody around you actually working against you. I don't like it. I don't like it. Don't say that. I don't like it. Say, this doesn't fully align with our direction. This doesn't fully align, or this doesn't fully align with my vision. I've said that before many times. Or this does not align with what I actually had in mind. Yes, that's right, Lisa. Nice. That's right, Queen. Sounds more gentle instead of accusatory. That's right, Queen. Right? So this may need adjustment to better fit, or I think I said, or timing or point of view, basically. Right? So you want the alignment. So instead of you saying, I don't like it, which puts the person on defensive, right? Let the person have to say, if they're brave enough, well, what do you do? What don't you like about it? Everything that you say after that, the person is going to take it personally. No, you say, it doesn't fully align with our direction. Interested. What is your direction? Bingo. That's the solution. The solution is he clearly isn't going in your direction. Why? It doesn't matter. Maybe we need to be clear on what the direction is. See how that works? Solution based. It changes everything. It skips 1,000 steps. Solution based thinking. It doesn't fully align with our direction. You know what's on the table now? What is the direction? Precisely. So now I'm going to explain the direction to you again so that we can be fully aligned together. See how that works? Good. What I'm doing, you see, I'm not just teaching you stuff just to have you repeat them. I am teaching you how to think about certain things so you can be a master yourself. Okay? Once I get across to you how to think about certain things, you won't need me or anybody else. Right? Because then you can do it yourself. Of course, practice, etc. And sometimes exposure, that's great. But a good leader don't want people to be dependent on them. See what I mean? Good. Good. Why? You remove the personal emotional language, again, I just said, and replace it with strategic alignment language. Right? You are a leader. You sound like a leader, and you're not sounding like somebody who is complaining. I don't like it. Okay, you don't like it. You have to do. No. You're too slow. That's another complaint. You're too slow. That's another complaint. Let's look at ways to increase efficiency. They'll get the message, right? Or how can we streamline this process? Do that. The hand movements is also important. Body language is also important, right? Because when you say, how can we streamline this process, and streamline this process, the fastest way between 2 points is a straight line. So you're basically saying it with your hands and saying it with your mouth. How can we streamline this process? Okay. It's one of my favorites, actually, because I talk with my hands, right? Right. So it's not you accusing them for them to tell you all the reasons why they're too slow and whose fault it is and whose fault it isn't, or feel bad or feel like as if they have to rush through the process and give you sloppy work. Double work makes no sense, because if they give you sloppy work, they have to come back and do it again. No, it makes no sense. Waste more time. Right? So what you do is, right, let's look at ways to increase efficiency. That's collaborative. And how can we streamline this process? That's basically saying, how can we get this done faster without the extra fluff? Okay. Hello, success over hype. Blessings, queen. Blessings, sister. Welcome. Welcome. Go Ready says, sadly happens too often today. Instead of focusing on solutions, good point. That's right. Go Ready. And you know that's one of my pet peeves. I cannot stand a complainer. I would, that's one of the people that I would, my body rejects them. Like, I can't be around it. A complainer. Or somebody who, just negative, complaining. If I have a problem for every solution, it does something to my energy field, to be honest. Yeah. And there are people who are chronic complainers. Matter of fact, it's part of their identity. Right? And you know what? They attract more things to complain about. Or they're always seeing it. Make work hard. Anyway, yeah, so we said that. And here is the why it works. You shift criticism to improvement. Okay? And it inspires performance rather than damaging morale. You don't want to damage the morale of the people that you are leading. Okay? You don't want to damage their morale. Right? Next. You're too fast or you rushed it. This is another one. You rushed it. Now, if you remember the principles that I just taught, let me throw it to you. Instead of you rushed it, if you stick to the principles I just taught you, how would you say it? The principle of be solution based and take the accusation out of your speech. What would you say? Giving you a chance to do it. While I eat grapes. I'm eating my wine. No? All right. What would be the solution? Think about it. Think about it. You basically want to tell them, do not sacrifice the quality of the work. Right? That's basically what you want to tell them for speed. Okay? So how would you tell them that? To take the accusation out of it. What you say is, accuracy is more important than speed here. See? Good. Accuracy is more important than speed here. Basically, you're not telling them you rushed it, but you're basically inviting them to slow down and let's do it properly. See, let's take the time to ensure quality. Beautiful way of saying it. Okay, good. Accuracy is important here. Let's take the time to ensure quality. Okay, Why? Because it resets expectation. In other words, I don't want, you know what? What's it not fast? I want it good. Take the time to make it good. You bringing it fast is not is that's not the goal here. Clearing your desk is not the goal here. I want it to be done properly, right? Clearing your desk is important, but be having it done properly is paramount. So this resets expectation without judgment. So you reinforce excellence as the standards and you remind the team of quality. Okay, we're almost done, guys. Okay, I'm bored. I'm bored. No, I'm bored. No, no. Complaint again. Complaint again. Right? You say the task isn't very engaging. The task isn't very engaging. Right? Is there a way to make it more developmental? Right? So something that would challenge me more. So when you say it like that, it expresses a need for growth, right? Instead of you saying I'm bored. No, right? You don't want to sound unprofessional. You don't want to sound ungrateful. Okay? As a leader, you communicate constructively. Again, without the accusation to compound the problem, and solution based. I need to be more engaged. I'd like to learn more. I don't feel all my skills are being utilized, right? Don't say I'm bored. I forgot. Mm-mm. I forgot. Now, if you're going to be solution based, what is the point of you telling somebody that you forgot? You want to be reminded. But you also don't want to seem incompetent by saying I forgot. Okay? See? I appreciate the reminder and will prioritize it now. Okay? Right? Or you can say, it slipped my schedule. Thanks for the reminder. Right? It slipped my schedule. Thanks for the reminder. Okay? You're basically not making yourself look incompetent. Okay? So you take accountability without excuses. Right? And you maintain professionalism and you reassure reliability. That's what the game is about. Okay? So, Fire Nation, bless you. And bless you too for trying to, for actually not even trying, not trying. That's a bad word. Bless you for improving yourselves and improving your lives and taking the time for yourself to make things better for you, because by extension, you make our community better. And by extension, you make your families better, which by extension makes our world better, right? Not all heroes wear capes. These are facts, right? When you actually take charge of your own life and your own learning to improve your station, it's a trickle-down effect. You improve everybody else who have to deal with you on a close level, right? And who they have to deal with as well. So I commend you. And next year is a new year, right? I hope you have your goals in order or your vision for your goals in order. Don't wait until the New Year's to start your New Year's resolution. I always tell you that. Okay? I bless you. And Jamaica YouTube, blessings. Thanks for the information. I didn't even know you were here, Jamaica YouTube. Blessings. And I owe your channel a visit. Everyone on the playback, please go and visit my brother Jamaica YouTube channel, as well as Emotep 360 Degrees channel and Rick Storm TV's channel. He's on here right now. Yes, blessings Jamaica YouTube. Good to see you. Good to see you. So Fire Nation, I want you to decide now to start elevating your communication. Okay? Because how you communicate, it will open doors for you. Okay? Right? How you communicate is very important. I am here, man, in the background watching. Blessings, brother, and thank you for your support always. Right? You were the one who made me start doing the video shorter and getting better ideas. So bless you always for your expertise and your guidance. I appreciate it. Love the show. Blessings, Clip Cartel, and blessings. Success Over Hype says complainers or know-it-alls. Which is worse? I think it's a personal one. I think it depends on which irks you more, right? They're both terrible. I don't like know-it-alls because they don't have any humility. And those are the type of people who would sacrifice teams and get things upside down because they don't want to be wrong. The know-it-all thing, I loathe that too. But me personally, complainers, that's just a personal thing. Maybe some people can stand them more than know-it-alls, but the know-it-alls, you just whatever, ignore them. Or when they get proved wrong enough, they kind of tend to be quiet because their image is more important, right? Than showing that, so after a while getting proved wrong over and over, they'll keep quiet. But complainers, it's a disease. It's a fly in the ointment, right? Because it's the energy. Remember, I always talk about energy. It's the energy, right? And they're distracting, and they bring the whole vibration down, and they ruin morale, right? No, complainers. They're my least favorite people. Now I have to clean up all of Miss T dollars that she won today, that she made me think. So blessings and thank you for everything. Oh, by the way, yeah. Well, I guess you will see. I'm traveling on Tuesday, so we'll be in a completely different location next week, Sunday. And I won't tell you. I leave some mystery. You'll see. See you later. Bye.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Does a crackhead say, I can't get high today because I'm broke? No, they make it happen. Don't let a crackhead try harder than you.
Yeah.